What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight for our 2024 MCF mock draft.
Damn right.
As we share our, MCF thoughts on what we think / hope the draft kind of looks like for our Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, on your way in, take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah, so mock draft night, some first round kind of last minute discussions, and also you see some players on the screen here, whether it is Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, or even old Ezekiel Elliott. Those are names we're going to discuss here before we even get to the mock draft side of things. So stay tuned. Some kind of last second news coming up here as we're getting up to the draft.
That's right.
Now, let's also get to the people that rep these boards here, whether after dark or right here. And then on My Cowboys Family, you see him right there, the man, McLovin, the sponsor of the week.
Woo.
Back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. And also the Cash App King up there, back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Much love and appreciation for the man, McLovin. Also much love to Zachary Carrasco, who took over the stream boss last night, took it from Jason Renfro.
That's right.
So much love to Big Z. Repping Big D and that star over everything. On the stream boss with 97 points, I must add. And then Jason Renfro, he's not off this board. In fact, he's back-to-back as well as our membership gifting champion 2 weeks in a row like our 90s Cowboys. Well, two back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Much love to the man, Jason Renfro. And him and Skeptic have been fighting it out up that top spot. Although right now this week there is no current membership gifting leader.
That's right.
Brand new week, so I guess we're midway through it. So let's see what happens if anybody does try to take over that crown. And also, when you look at the other side of things, it's not the man McLovin usually dominating these boards by now, but he actually a little behind on the current leader on both the Cash App and the overall board. None other than SCO971. Much love to him.
Go SCO.
Yeah, he usually drops them like right in the end of the channel, at the end of these streams. So appreciate SCO971. Also, of course, hangs out in the After Dark sessions. So much love. He's currently in first place. So you can see the overall board, SCO, Gloria. And then we got some drops yesterday from the great one, Grateful Nomad. And also SCO971 last night also dropping some love. So he's trying to get a bigger lead over everybody else. And McLovin in fourth and Roger Dad in fifth. So, and the rest of the crew. Appreciate all of you guys who dropped the love this week. And again, a little extra special bonus, you could say, for your drops this week for a future raffle. I'll discuss in a minute. But first, I want you to let them know, baby, how to drop the love, because there's, of course, the super chat. There's a thanks button. You can drop it through YouTube. You can also jump in the membership or gift memberships. But that's through the YouTube side. If you want to try to catch SCO971 or dethrone McLovin on the Cash App, baby, what are the 4 ways they can do that?
Of course, you have the Cash App, money sign, My Cowboys Family. the Venmo at my-cowboys-family, the regular PayPal link, and of course, last but not least, that Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Yeah, much love to all you guys. Use all these ways. Usually after dark, it is PayPal and Cash App that is the most. And then, as we do on the nightly, gotta give a shout out to those that are in the Star and Over Everything level membership. They get the nightly shout out. So baby, you do the deed here.
A very extra special thank you to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Dwayne Broussard, The Lunatic, and Over Everything. See Bass.
Yeah, we just had him on the show. He'll be back again very soon. But since we're talking about that top shelf level membership spots, the Star and Over Everything level, let's also shout out this very special raffle going down next week. Yes, next
going
week.
Down for real.
The monthly jersey raffle. Yes, the month of April, we will raffle off another Sewn and Stitch jersey. This is one from MCF. That's where it's coming from. And yes, every Star level member gets an entry, and every Over Everything level member gets 2 entries. So that's how that goes. But don't forget, just talked about McLovin. He's won twice this month. See that little green writing at the bottom? The weekly winners also get bonus entries into this very elite raffle. So again, people like McLovin, he's probably got 2. I think he's won it 2 weeks in a row, so he's got himself 2 raffles for this.
That's right.
2 entries for this raffle for the jersey for the end of the month. That's gonna probably be done like sometime next week, way after the draft is over. We do have a draft special coming up, and we were gonna do it this week, but since we popped it on you guys so quickly,
Last minute.
yeah, we're gonna just take basically this week is gonna be, we're gonna take in the whatever drops you give in here. We will put it towards this double jersey raffle. Basically, 2 jerseys raffled off.
Yeah,
one representing day 1, the other one representing day 2 of this draft from the Lunatic. So much love to him. Sewn and Stitch, same as our monthly raffle ones. And it's a lot of different teams too, right? Every team is available. There's less players in those teams. Cowboys, there's like 30 or 40 different players, old and new, styles, sizes, the whole thing. We got all different choices to choose from. You get to pick the jersey you want that we have in stock. And how do they get into this thing, baby?
Of course,
Simple.
You drop $10, bam. You're automatically entered. If you are an MCF member, once you're entered, you also get a bonus entry. And those entries, they continue to stack. So every additional 10 just keeps on stacking.
Yeah, so if you drop 20 and then you get yourself 2 entries to this raffle, but then if you're in the membership, you get a 3rd entry. Any membership, Navy, Blue, Silver, Star, or Over Everything. That's where a little bit of extra bonus there. The more raffles you have, the better chance to win one of these fantastic Sewn and Stitch jerseys. So anyway, that's coming up, but we will be reminding you guys this entire week that this is the raffle, and it's going to be coming on soon. We just got to make sure we get enough people to hear about this raffle, since we're kind of going really late. And we kind of had a lot of off days these last couple of months. So we want to make sure people get it as we roll towards the 2024 season, which we are already in it right now. So can't wait to see who wins these 2 jerseys. 2 different winners winning a jersey apiece. And that's the draft will be coming soon. But just an extra reminder, these are the jersey raffles coming up for the draft. So enter. And it's all, accepting all entries right now. It's been going on. So we have about 4 people right now in the raffle. Pretty good chances. 2 of them are going to win right now at this point. So
50% off.
Yeah, 50% chance to win a jersey. Anyways, on that note, baby, who's in the house tonight? Ready to talk some Cowboy football, mock draft. And hey, we're on the eve of the draft, first round tomorrow. So we're going to talk a lot about that here tonight on My Cowboys Family. Who the hell is in the house?
Thank you very much to the man C. Bass himself. Yeah. Drop him if you got him. Dropping those emojis. Even you, real shit. You're going to talk real football along with Lee's side. Harold.
Yeah, they need to talk real football only because it's Cowboy football. That's real football.
That's right. Madman, what's up? And trust me, we'll be talking about Micah's contract. Kind of interesting to see where some of the clickbait took it today. Anyway, keep rolling here. We have Leslie Bradford, much love, saying, I really hope we can do something this year. I've been a Cowboy fan since the 70s and 80s, and I'm 60 now. So,
damn, I hear you.
Yeah, old school fan representing there, Leslie. Hopefully we do. Colette Cat, howdy do to you. Thanks for joining us. Texas
Welcome
Twister. Stay safe out there on the road. Daniel Berry Sports, what's up? Much love. MCF After Dark. I wonder who that is.
Always peeking around the corner.
John Syme, good evening to you as well. Asmodeus in the house, almost first. But it looks like Freedom first.
Freedom was first.
So, anyway, shout out as well. Rolando Rodriguez, much love. Appreciate you. let me go ahead, hand things over to the Mr. MCF because we don't have too many things to touch on before we get into our mock draft, and I know that's really what we came here to discuss.
Yeah, so let's get into it, guys. Just gonna be a quickie in a way. Not much news out there, but we are talking mock draft. But let's start off with the NFL news. The Chicago Bears today officially announced new plans for a $2 billion lakefront stadium. So, there's a new plan for this going on there. These plans were just introduced today.
Lakefront stadium.
Yeah. So again, they went from that Soldiers Field, to now they are,
going
fancy. Yeah. So, just a little side note there on the Bears. Now, interesting little college note from old Reggie Bush, right, running back that won the Heisman Trophy back in 2005. Remember, he had taken some money. At the time, it was illegal to do that, of course. So today, Reggie Bush is getting his 2005 Heisman Trophy back. Yeah. There's a formal reinstatement is going on of the trophy, and that happened earlier today. The decision came basically what the Heisman Trust calls, quote, enormous changes in the college football landscape.
Okay.
Meaning now with the money going in there to the players, this would never have been a crime back then. So they kind of forgave him.
That's actually kind of nice.
Yeah. Reggie Bush today said, quote, personally, I'm thrilled to reunite with my fellow Heisman winners and be part of the storied legacy of the Heisman Trophy, and I'm honored to return to the Heisman family. I also look forward to working together with the Heisman Trust to advance the values and mission of the organization. So everyone's happy here. Remember, here's the thing that's disturbing about all of this. Reggie Bush played his entire high school career, entire collegiate career, won a national championship, won the Heisman Trophy, then was drafted, won the Super Bowl, had his Heisman Trophy taken away, and then has his Heisman Trophy restored before the Cowboys reached an NFC championship in that time frame. So, basically 27 years.
Yeah, Justin Quarles, the Q-man.
Hey.
Long time no see. He said, good for him. I like it, and he earned it.
Deserves it back. I agree.
Call It Cat said, wow, that is some good news. Good for him.
And much love to the Q-man, Justin Quarles in the house. Now, also, other NFL news, the Bengals. 3-time Pro Bowl defensive edge rusher Trey Hendrickson today requested to be traded from Cincinnati. Hendrickson is due to make $15 million this season, but he's looking for a more long-term contract security and much more, which is much more than right now Cincinnati has offered him in any kind of deal or extension. Kind of reminds me of the what's his name? I can't forget the guy's name from the Bengals. Also a free agent receiver, T. Higgins. He's under his franchise tag. I think he's gonna play under that tag, it seems like. But T. Higgins also wanted to be traded. Both these guys from the Bengals. So we'll see what happens on that. Now, a team that was busy today, I mean really busy, and actually affects the Cowboys, are the Detroit Lions.
Oh.
And as they were busy with two other players, let me just give you an update on Jared Goff. They're looking to maybe get him signed back to the Lions, and there is no deal as, quote, imminent right now for the Lions quarterback, Jared Goff, even though they've made deals with other players today. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the Lions and Jared Goff had spoken about a new deal this offseason, and at this moment there's no deal close, but it looks like they're getting closer. Right. At least that's the point there when it comes to quarterback and Jared Goff situation.
I mean, that's surprising. He certainly did well enough, I think, to stay.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, he got him to the conference championship. I mean, we fucking can't do that with anybody, with any of our fucking quarterbacks or teams since our last Super Bowl win in 1996. So, anyways, there is no imminent deal for Jared Goff, but there is a deal done for their offensive lineman, All-Pro offensive tackle Penei Sewell. Remember, was he not drafted? Was he drafted with the Micah year? I'm not sure if he was or not, but Penei Sewell agreed to terms with the Lions on a 4-year, $112 million extension, makes him the new highest-paid offensive lineman in the National Football League. This deal includes $85 million in guarantees. So, again, they got real busy, though. This is the thing I'm talking about, the Cowboys. We have what we call a show of clowns when it comes to the front office. And the clown show, unfortunately, they... throw them on the board. In case you don't remember who they are, Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones. They don't know how to work. Right now, Penei Sewell is like, he could play another year on his fifth-year deal, or he could play another year on his... But they got the job done. They could do two things at once. The Joneses seem to do one thing every month. Like, it's a big... this is how the way we run this front office, these two guys, it's just not a good system. While the Lions, they're busy, talking to Jared Goff, getting one of the best offensive linemen in the league signed to a multi-million-dollar huge deal, and also, by the way, got their wide receiver signed. And this is going to be the most important effect to the Cowboys here. Because,
here we go.
Yeah, let's go. Because Jerry Jones spoke about this yesterday, and CeeDee Lamb and some leaves falling. Well, leaves fell. And let me explain what I mean. Now, is this going to affect CeeDee Lamb? We'll discuss it. But the Lions today, after getting Penei Sewell done and trying to get Jared Goff getting closer to getting done, they got another huge deal done with their number one wide receiver, a deal for their young top talent wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. All right? So this guy is a very good receiver, no question. But is he Justin Jefferson? Is he CeeDee Lamb? No. No, he's not.
Still doesn't mean that it doesn't affect their contract, because it still means you're figuring out.
Well, it depends what the contract is.
I know.
Right. So this was done, right? It makes him officially now the highest paid receiver in the NFL.
Oh shit.
But what is that number? So Tyreek Hill, 4-year deal, $120 million. $52 million of that is guaranteed. All right. Amon-Ra St. Brown got the same deal, 4 years, $120 million. But $77 million guaranteed.
Wow.
So he got a lot more guaranteed. So we have 2 receivers left here. 3, really. I mean, you look at today, guess what happened? The Bengals, they picked up the 5th-year option on wide receiver Jamar Chase. So, which was expected, but they're planning for another, he's going to get paid soon. Mm-hmm. They already got him on that 5th year. Like, listen, we had this with CD last year. The Cowboys, they play in games, right? They're trying to play games and not get this deal done with CeeDee Lamb. So we're going to get it done this year? I don't know. But CeeDee's waiting for Justin Jefferson. We allowed CeeDee Lamb to be in this position. Instead of giving him $25 million last year a year for CeeDee Lamb, we said, let's wait. So now what was the new numbers? Do you remember around where was that? Because when it comes to Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyreek Hill, even though they're tied for the most money in the league, of course, the guarantees are higher with St. Brown.
Of course.
And it's both of them are getting to pay the same amount of money, $30 million a year. So that CeeDee Lamb money that was 25 to 30 last year at most is now 30 plus, which we kind of assumed. But now we know. Now we know for real.
No more assuming now.
So if St. Brown is $30 million a year, then what you think is going to be Sedarius Lamb's price tag? I'm thinking $32-33 million range, which is what I said the Cowboys should have done $30 million or $28 million last year, is what I was saying. Overpay, because now look at the deal you would have gotten. A steal.
Yeah, that would sound again. It would sound like a bargain now.
This is why I keep telling everybody the Joneses are a fucking clown show. They don't know how to run. They do not know how to run an organization, in my humble opinion. And we've been saying this for years, and they've been proving us right. And I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong. I want them to win a Super Bowl because I want our Cowboys to have a Super Bowl. But they keep fucking us. So $33 million a year. Some people saying more. Some people saying with the $34-35 million a year. The longer we wait, Cowboy front office, they're waiting for leaves to fall. The leaves are motherfucking falling right now. Like I said, Jamar Chase gearing up for a deal now. He's getting his 5th year option. They gave it to him today. So what does this mean for the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb? Because Jerry Jones yesterday said we want to wait for a few more leaves to fall, whether it means more action on the field or more action, when it comes to the other players in those positions, which is the dumbest thing that Jerry Jones could have done. Now we're seeing leaves falling, and CeeDee Lamb's price probably got boosted up. I wouldn't say got boosted up like it pushed it way up or made a huge difference. It solidified it solidified the base. It solidified the least amount that CeeDee's going to get, and that's $31 million, which that number wasn't even talked about until this offseason when it was getting closer to that. But last offseason we could have got him, could have saved $5 million a year, more than that a year. Jones has said, nah, we'll wait. This is the problem with the front office. So, again, when you look at this, when you look at a move like this, we allow these moves to be made all around us, and we complain, the front office complains, we can't sign these players. So, the Cowboys admitted that they don't have the salary cap to make the winning moves now, right? But on the other hand, they are also content to just wait on guys and not make offers and really make, we're not hearing with the Joneses really talking to Dak Prescott, Michael Parsons.
It's like they think that
CeeDee
cap
Lamb.
space just opens itself up out of the sky.
Yeah. Well, they want to do it naturally, I guess, without any moving money forward. I don't know. I know that there's only going to be a $10 million increase on the cap probably. That changes some plans, but the point is this. They say they don't have the salary cap space to make new players come on this team. But then the guys we have, we also don't sign. We wait on guys like CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons to pay more money later. And again, by waiting, it allows them to go up in price. You can't get mad at the players because the front office is not doing their job. So it basically takes up more salary cap. This waiting takes up literally, this is waiting from the front office, from the clown show. Waiting every year they've waited. We talked about this last year. Other than Trayvon Diggs, who got hurt, third game of the season, no one could help. But CeeDee Lamb also could have got a deal. The Joneses said, no, let's wait. And now it's going to cost us $5, $6, $7 million more a year. Plain and simple. So, but yet the Cowboys overpay and jump on guys like Michael Gallup 2 years ago, right? Jumped on that extension and got Gallup a deal, which I don't think was a great deal. $13 million a year, $12 million. That's not a great deal after the guy coming off an ACL tear. And then Terrence Steele off the ACL tear, try to get a deal with him. Didn't look that great last season. He looked like he lost a little bit of something there, right? So the Cowboys, we jump the gun on these extensions, like the Michael Gallup and Terrence Steele deals,
so for
right?
these guys, we can jump the line and pull the trigger and sign them early.
And sign them for over what they're really worth. But our guys that we know are stars like Dak, we wait on his first contract. CeeDee Lamb, we're still waiting. Micah, we're still waiting. This is the front office must want to trade them or don't want them here anymore because that's what you're telling the fans and that's what you're telling the players. And then when you sign them next year or a little bit later in the year or this month or whatever, now it's gone up another $1 million, $2 million, $5 million than last time we talked about this. And that's not on the player. That's on the Joneses. That's poor negotiating contracts, bad negotiating with these players. This is the front office's trash, clown show. And, instead of keeping the homegrown superstars, they keep the second and third fiddle guys that are coming off injuries because they get a slight deal, question mark. When it comes to Gallup, I saw no deal there. So, again, it's just frustrating when you're seeing this happen over and over again, and these other guys going off the board, and it's affecting the Dallas Cowboys' literal salary cap. Every time another receiver gets signed, every time a quarterback gets signed, every time a defensive player gets signed, up go these prices on these players that we still have to give extensions to or waste, literally waste. So, anyways, not sure if you have any thoughts on that, but
I did want to read these two comments in the chat real quick. ZEKE Aguilera 4 said, the only way the Cowboys win a Super Bowl will be under new owners. Till then, expect the same results. And Mr. Seabass said, a new owner means just another Jones family member, most likely Stephanie. And I responded to that basically saying, this team isn't going to leave the ownership of the Jones family. The best we can hope for is that one of them at least lets a real GM take
over. That's why I'm hoping Belichick comes in. That's the biggest, brightest light we can have since Parcells.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. If we get a Belichick in here. Anyways, let's keep it moving here because we also have, we're talking about these moves in the NFL and these other, these people getting signed, this guy, that guy, extensions. What about Ezekiel Elliott? Question mark. Because
what about him?
Well, literally hours before we went live tonight, the Cowboys are currently meeting with running back Ezekiel Elliott's representatives. And they're at the facility, and this is all happening literally less than 24 hours before the NFL draft. So is it going to be a reunion between Zeke and the Cowboys? His agent, Rocky Arsenault, today spoke about a potential return to Dallas. And that was through Tom Pelissaro as well. So it's like concrete information here. So the former NFL rushing champ and former Dallas Cowboy, Ezekiel Elliott, the negotiations are not dead yet when it comes to that. They are in talks. But how? Now I went deeper. I want to know how far in talks are we? Well, we know what happened. We know that
we're in the talking stage.
Well, we know that this guy is the one that met with him. See the guy I'm talking about right behind him? Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones, Catboy. Stephen Jones met with Zeke and his agent at Cowboys Club today. But the word was, it was, quote, just talking. Nothing happening. So no imminent deal at all with Zeke. So do not think that we're signing Zeke. This seems to be
That's what all the guys like to say. We were just talking.
Well, this is to me it feels like this is like something maybe trying to throw off the scent. Maybe they think that if we can wait to the third round for Jonathan Brooks, no one will draft him because we might take Zeke and we're not going to look for a running back. I mean, I don't know what their game plan is here.
I feel like I wonder if this wasn't the plan all along, in the sense of, we heard very early off-season rumors like, oh, the Cowboys might be interested in bringing him back.
Yeah.
Then absolutely nothing until less than 24 hours before the draft kicks off. This feels very intentional. Like, hey, depending on how the draft goes or depending on when exactly it breaks down, like, we'll call you after the draft and get some, signatures on some contracts.
Yeah, we'll get some deal. Maybe they're trying to work out a pre-deal, like you said, after the draft. We'll see what happens if we have no running backs.
If it doesn't work out, yeah.
Yeah, so, again, like you said, a month ago, this was first reported officially that the Cowboys had interest in Zeke, and it was another running back, Dalvin Cook. The Cowboys had interest in both these guys, and neither guy, they're both still free agents. Yeah. I'd rather have Dalvin Cook. But either way, right now, this was already reported. It's not really a new story. It's just him coming back for a revisit, it looks like. And I'm going to say this. For the Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones mindset, they're looking at this as we're already paying, and they're not paying Zeke $6 million, but they're paying the cap $6 million. If we're paying $6 million for a running back already on the cap, why not just bring him back for $1 million? Like a veteran, it could probably be a veteran salary benefit kind of deal. For $1.5 million, you get Zeke. He gets maybe 1.7 in his pocket, and the Cowboys only have to take a hit of 1.2, and you add that to the 6, so you're paying $7.2 million for Zeke. And, that's the way the Cowboys will literally probably fucking look at this thing. But I think maybe it's another reason, baby. Maybe they just are looking for depth at center with Zeke.
You're going to have to explain that one a little bit more.
Really? His last play with the Cowboys.
Oh, that's right. Not a funny
loss, but yes, it was a weird fucking play by.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that one, but you're right.
Maybe a little center depth.
Should have forgotten that Zeke was moonlighting as a center.
Yeah,
last we saw him
for Kellen Moore in that last play of that Niners playoff game that we lost 2 years ago.
It's probably better we forget that play.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, is that what we're looking at for center backup? I don't know. Obviously, I'm joking, but
hey, we do like our versatile players.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just center is not the spot for Zeke, obviously, and it's just funny. I'm just making a joke. The point is that he's still an old. I'm not. No, if anybody's going crazy that Zeke's coming back and yay, I think you're jumping the gun. I think you guys got to know what Zeke is here for. Probably to compete with Royce Freeman. I won't call him Royce the 5'9", but probably Royce Freeman and him are fighting it out for the power running back spot or something like that. If he gets signed, I still hope that doesn't change the Cowboys' mind to go grab a running back. Or you know what? Don't get Zeke. Get 2 running backs in this draft. You'll see what I mean. But either way, that's kind of the Zeke update. Their interest, they're talking. Nothing is imminent. I suspect either trying to fool teams into we're not looking for a running back, or, which is impossible because we obviously need a running back, or like you said, baby, kind of have a deal ready after the draft if we fail on drafting a running back high enough that the Cowboys like enough as a starter.
Yeah.
So, don't know if anybody else.
Yeah, I didn't know you wanted to get the chat real quick.
That's it on the.
I think Aguilar 4 said the Zeke jersey sales are going to go up again.
There you go. You rewear your 21s too for those that
see that. I was just about to say, I'm like, that's the only reason they won't go up, because people are just going to start, rocking their old school Zeke jerseys.
Watch Jerry give him number 15 or something. Change it up.
Tokyo said, at least we can score on the 1 yard line with Zeke.
That is true, but we also have Royce Freeman who can also do that. That's the thing. So
I feel depending on the rest of our O line / offense, first we got to get to the 1 yard line. Yeah. Remember, our Cowboys apparently had no in between. It was either with Kellen Moore, we couldn't score when we got. Okay, I'm sorry.
No. We actually, in his last year, we were number 1 in the red zone, but most of his career he's been pretty bad in the red zone percentage wise. But his last year he actually was number 1. I just want to clarify that. I know it's kind of tricky, but we got to give him kudos when he did right, and he was improved on the goal line. But was it because we were running the ball efficiently? No. Because it was a little wacky little play. Sometimes it went back 10 yards. Sometimes we got a touchdown. So
now Rolando Rodriguez says Zeke is just going to be another blocker for Dak. Hey, at least, you know what?
Yeah,
at least that would be useful. Right? And that's Aguilar 04 saying the real question is, what are we doing with Deuce Vaughn? The Deuce Vaughn experiment to me has been, I don't want to say over, because there's obviously still some hope. But, yeah, it didn't work out the way we wanted to. Cowboys seem to be very quickly
I think
moving in a different direction.
the worst case for him will be practice squad. I don't think he's going to be cut from the NFL. But the thing is also, you got to remember, and I brought this up with the new kickoff rule, he could be the second returner back there with him.
True.
So it makes no matter where you kick the football on the field, it's dangerous. So that's a possibility. We'll have to wait and see how the Cowboys take that. But you can have two returners. He may be the other returner. So that's an option there. Also, I believe if we get another running back in this draft, a small, speedy guy, I think Deuce Vaughn is practice squad. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
But he's going to have an opportunity to fight things out in camp, is the point.
I agree. So Jason Renfro, what's up? Much love. And Asmodeus, no, Zeke is not back. But his agent spoke with Stephen Jones today.
Yep. So,
but we'll see what actually happens there.
Yeah. Again, sounds like it's just more for kind of like just for the visuals. Doesn't sound like it's the real deals going down. But let's talk about some real deals that may go down very soon. Starting with our coach. Guess what he's doing? Mike McCarthy. Heading into the last year of his contract, he's hired an agent, Don Yee, to represent him. Yee represents Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, and Tom Brady, amongst others. So again, kind of like coach, retired agent there. I think Don Yee also had Brady's, did his contracts back when he was, still a player. But my point is, McCarthy's looking into getting, himself an agent that can get him a deal soon because he knows it's coming. He knows he ain't going to be here next year unless he win the Super Bowl. Now,
time to start looking for a new job.
Another guy, well, that's the problem. That's why he's like dead man walking this year. It sucks because it's kind of a wasted year for our team, for our players, for our opportunities. And again, for someone like Mike McCarthy who's getting a new agent. So McCarthy getting an agent. We have a good coach, though, on a team here that's, not a good coach, but a coach that actually got an NFL award. The NFL awarded Cowboys wide receiver coach Robert Prince. Remember, he ran the 50 and up, 50 to 60 relay or hurdles. He's very athletic, very good player. A good coach, healthy guy, keeps in shape. He came from Boise State. Kellen Moore said, "Hey, come on over here," and hired him under him as offensive, when he was the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. And Robert Prince has been a Cowboy, receiver coach since I think last year when Jalen Tolbert was drafted. He pushed for him hard. So, anyways, the point here is he won an award from the NFL. He won the Darryl Drake Memorial Wide Receiver Coach of the Year. So, big time congrats for the best wide receiver coach in the league, it looks like, Robert Prince.
Way to go.
He helped lead one of the best receiver rooms in the league. Of course, CeeDee Lamb doing that on his own, a lot of that. But Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, Jalen Tolbert, and Jalen Brooks are the names mentioned as far as his help this year for them in getting this award. So, congrats to Robert Prince. Yeah. Now, one last name here we got to talk about when it comes to Cowboys and contracts and things going on. It's our defensive superstar, Micah Parsons. Today, the Cowboys have officially picked up Micah Parsons' fifth-year option. So this fifth-year, he's entering his fourth year now. His fifth-year option means the Cowboys are willing to pay whatever the fifth-year number is for 2025. And this will cost the Cowboys $21.324 million next for 2025 for Micah Parsons. So already, even at the very base, it's a steal, but $21.324 million is going to be Micah's contract in 2025 if there's no deal for him, going into the next year. So this price, by the way, this is important. It was determined by the position where he took the most snaps.
Okay.
It's not made by the Joneses. It's not made by Micah. It's made by which position he took.
Plays more.
Where do you think he played most at? Edge over linebacker, right? So he played defensive end. That's why he's getting paid even more money, the $21.3 million. Again, in the end, of course, the Cowboys still want to ultimately sign him to a long-term deal. That's the word. But right now, $21.3 million is his cost next year. So the Cowboys picking up Micah Parsons' option was something that was obviously going to happen. One of the best players in the league. It would behoove the Cowboys to get a long-term deal done as soon as possible if they want to really keep him here, meaning this offseason. Given that the likelihood of numbers at his position going down is going to not happen. It's only going to go up. So hopefully the Cowboys are going to learn a lesson after the 8th time here with, and maybe get a deal done with Micah Parsons and not wait like they did with CeeDee Lamb and many other Cowboy players that we've waited on, and then ended up costing us much, much more. So any thoughts on Micah being tagged, the 21?
I mean, like I said, we expected this. This is, at least we know the Cowboys are still alive, I guess, the front office, right?
Yeah.
So, glad, I guess, it got done. Nice to know exactly how that whole Micah, is he a linebacker, is he a defensive lineman thing, where it breaks down. Just because, again, at least now we know moving forward, okay, he's clearly going to be, quote-unquote, classified as a defensive edge.
Yeah. Well, so. that's where he plays the most. We'll see what happens this year, when they play him at quote-unquote linebacker this year more, but the next year, maybe they'll sign him to we want to sign you to a linebacker contract, You never know. You never know.
If Micah plays linebacker more this year, and it ends up being a good thing for the Cowboys, at the end of the day, the team's needs come before, his individual contract situation. So, we have to do what we have to do for the team. But I also can't see Micah playing more linebacker snaps and having that be.
Yeah, I hear you. Look, all I know is this. It'd probably be the Cowboys. If they're not going to keep Micah and pay him the money and all that stuff, guess what? And the Cowboys going to have to probably end up trading him eventually. Because, the Jones are not going to pay him $40 million in 3 years. In 3 years, they're not going to say, okay, now it's a $40 million player and a guy who's been beat up for 5 or 6 years after we tag him another. He could have him for 7 years before. But he's not going to be the same Micah Parsons. So you can play that game, and then he won't ever hit the money anywhere else other than the tag money, which is still great, but it's not the most he could have gotten. So he could be a prime target for the Cowboys. And then there's no long-term deal. That's understandable if that's the way they're going to do it. But if they're going to sign him long-term and they're going to wait to the end, I'm sorry. I know. Ikon Meta said that, we want to wait on these guys, let them earn the contracts. I agree. But then you can't get mad when you got to pay the guys the big contracts and you say, well, we don't want to pay him that money. Well, you got to, too bad. You got to pay him. That's what we did with CeeDee Lamb, and it's costing us $7-8 million. Are we going to let him go? Because of the stupidity of the front office?
And that's what I'm saying. That seems absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's the confusing part for me. Now, any other last comments in the chat, baby, before we move it on right on to the NFL draft?
Of course. First of all, wisdom to God. What's up? Much love. Now, Rolando's saying, linebackers get paid more.
Then what? Then
I'm guessing defensive linemen? Or
no. Linebackers get paid more when you're talking about, the fifth-year option and that kind of stuff. No, not fifth-year option, but the is it fifth-year option?
Tag, maybe?
I don't know. Not the tag. I forgot what it was, but there was a certain thing where I think it may be the fifth-year option. The tag is actually more expensive for the linebacker spot. But when you look at when you start doing that's for the fifth-year option. When you look at the tag, it's actually much more expensive for edge over linebacker. So you guys got another difference on that. This is not a tag. The linebacker might be $23 million, and the edge rusher is $21 million for the fifth-year option. That's on your rookie deal. But when you get tagged, the Cowboys got to tag them. They can't tag them at linebacker. They got to tag them at edge because that's what they're using now. The system's using Micah as edge. So when he goes to he gets tagged, it's going to be tagged on edge money, not linebacker money, which that's going to be like a $7, $8, $10 million difference per year.
So Tyrone Church, much love, saying bring Zeke and draft Jonathan Brooks. So, hey, yeah,
I'm not a fan of Jonathan Brooks,
some of that, Zeke stuff, but Jonathan Brooks, we'll have to see in our mock draft if he ends up with us or not.
I'm not a fan, but the Cowboys are, so they might get him in the second round. I think that's way too high.
And then the final comment I'll make, Icon Meta. I'm guessing that's how you saying, well, if you want the same results as last season.
I touched on that. I touched on that.
I know.
Comment,
okay.
Okay, no, I already touched on it a minute ago. I don't have to repeat it, but just saying, play it out, yes, earn it, yes, but you can't get mad then when you pay a guy after he earned that money. You can't get mad at CeeDee Lamb. He's costing us $33 million because the Joneses didn't pay him $25 last year when they should have because you want him to earn it. So he earned it. We got to pay it. So it hurts the team. Somebody's got to take a risk. To risk it on Michael Gallup's torn ACL, to risk it on Terrence Steele's torn ACL and jump on those contracts early, that's the stupid I think Meta is talking about. To me, that's stupid. But to jump on a guy you're going to keep anyways, like we were doing with Dak in the past, well, you waited too long. Same thing's going to happen with CeeDee Lamb. It's happening now. Same thing may happen with Micah Parsons. So it may happen again with Dak if the Cowboys extend them anyway. So this is bad front office management. Even if I know what you're saying, make them earn it. We all agree. That's not reality, though. They earn it when you think that they they're going to be a player wearing that star for a good chunk of years. Then you got to make the deal now. You can't sit here and wait till next year. Maybe it'll be a little cheaper. It ain't happening cheaper. It's getting more expensive. So that's where the Cowboys got to manage their shit right, and they're not doing a good job. At least in my opinion, they're not. But again, if it only goes up $10 million next year, these contracts are going to start to come back down. Oh, look at the man, Choctaw, Montana, 808 in the house. He's part of the membership, it looks like. Did he get gifted?
No, he joined into it, and not in that navy blue, not in that silver, but right in that star level membership. So shout out to you, Montana. And guess what you just did?
To the man, Mr. Choctaw, Montana, in the star level membership.
In one swift motion, Montana, you have 2 entries into our draft raffle and a bonus one because you're a star member. Yep. So already 1, 2, 3,
boom.
Bam.
Yes, and that's the way it goes. Much love to Mr. Choctaw, Montana, who's basically 5 away from another entry in this raffle.
True.
But the thing is, again, we're collecting these basically up to day 1 and day 2, and then we're going to raffle off these jerseys sometime in the near future. Mr. Montana right now has the same amount of entries as our leader on the raffle board, Jason Renfro. They each have 3 now officially. Big shout out to Choctaw, Montana. Appreciate you. And as always, go Cowboys.
Always.
Give the love to Montana 808 in the house. And he's part of that star level membership now. I got to put him on that board. And hey, welcome back. I know he was there a little while ago. Appreciate you back in the house as we're gearing up for the draft and this 2024 season.
So, and yes, there you go. Drop him if you got it. Now, Tyrone Church, right before that happened, said that I feel that CD's deal is coming sooner rather than later.
I can see that. I just see the Cowboys. It's all about, to me, it's more about Justin Jefferson than it is the Joneses.
I was just about to say, if CD's deal gets done, it's because of everything else happening around CeeDee Lamb, unless, like the Cowboys are actively participating. Like, no, they're just being reactive the way they are to a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So I don't think that's the best way to end up with reasonable terms for everyone, so to speak. So that's just me, though. But I don't know. The one thing that does give me a little bit of pause, and you guys kind of said it, CeeDee Lamb's agent is also... Isn't he also Justin Jefferson's agent or something like that?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Like
I forgot if it's
both
accurate or
have
not.
agents under the same agency. Like I don't remember exactly what it was. Someone in the chat had said it.
Huh.
So
it may be true. I do remember speaking about that, but basically they know what each of them are pushing for. Now we know it's going to be over $31 million. It's got to be. There's no question about that. So $31 million and up. You're looking at, I'm thinking 33, 34 possibly. Some people are saying 35, which may be happening. So again, with it, how long with the Cowboy?
Same agency. Thank you, Tyler Church. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I didn't think Todd, or oh my goodness, I almost said Todd France like we're talking about Dak. My bad. Okay, I didn't think that CeeDee's agent was directly the same agent as Justin Jefferson, but I knew there was a connection, and I appreciate you guys reminding us there. So, exactly. So, if they're being represented by the same agency, it benefits the entire agency to push both of these guys, to their absolute limit of what we can possibly get away with, right? Because, man, like you guys are seeing here, these players are holding out against some pretty interesting contracts and amounts of contracts, guaranteed amounts of contracts, since we were talking about the one we just talked about earlier with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, and that affected a lot of things.
In relation to CeeDee.
CeeDee Lamb, Micah, Dak, we'll have to wait on these contracts to see what happens. But that's the update on that front. Let's get to the mock draft and really tomorrow's draft. Now today's draft, less than 24 hours away. But tomorrow this time, we will already know who the Cowboys have picked. Now, baby, I know we're going to do this tomorrow for the draft.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little different because we initially were going to go live during the draft. We have some things going on. And we will definitely be recording our reaction to the draft. If it's a trade back, whatever it is, we'll do it. And then we will go live on our usual time to discuss what just happened in the first round.
So shortly after the draft is over, you'll be seeing us live here in person. And yes, we'll probably be showing our beautiful faces
on
as
camera.
we discuss, our reaction to the draft. We'll obviously, hopefully by then, have at least a clip of our reaction to it ready to go, so we can also show you guys, our actual live reaction in the moment.
Yeah, we'll definitely have that video, uploaded before our live stream for draft night. So starting off draft, round one, and then round 2 and 3, we'll do the same thing, and then give you the wrap up afterwards, like our usual times when we meet up with you guys over here. So let's get into this draft situation. The Lions have been in the news today, like I said, a lot of signings, a lot of almost signings. The Lions have drafted 4 Pro Bowlers in the first round over the last 5 NFL drafts. That's the most in the NFL. So, again, in the first round, the Lions, 4 out of the last 5 have been Pro Bowlers. The Lions have also drafted 7 Pro Bowlers in any round over the last 5 NFL drafts. So you look at any round, only one team is better than them, the Dallas Cowboys. That's Will McClay doing that stuff. The Cowboys have drafted 8 Pro Bowlers. 8 Pro Bowlers in the last 5 years, while the Lions have drafted 7 Pro Bowlers in the last 5 years. The point here is we don't get our Pro Bowlers in the first round. We get our Pro Bowlers in the rest of the draft, much more than all the others, because they only have 3 guys in the rest of the drafts in the last 5 years that are Pro Bowlers. We don't have. I don't know how many first rounders we have Pro Bowler on Tyler Smith, but Trayvon Diggs. No, he wasn't even a first rounder. I'm trying to think of the first CeeDee Lamb. So we have a couple. We got 2 or 3. They have 4 Pro Bowlers in the last 5 first rounds, but we have Pro Bowlers all strewn throughout the drafts. So keep that in mind. We are a better overall drafting team than the Lions are, but the Lions are a better pinpoint first round, mainly because they're always picking early in the draft. They have more ability to get a Pro Bowl type caliber player. The Cowboys are picking usually 17, 24, 27. That means we have less chance to get but yet we're still getting Pro Bowlers throughout a draft. Keep that in mind. So, Will McClay, save the day, please. Now, as far as hits or misses in the draft, let me just quickly go over. Today, there was a kind of a chart released about what positions hit the most as far as first rounders are concerned. So which ones are hits and which ones are misses?
Okay.
How do they do this, guys? So they base this on whether or not a player signed a second contract with the team that drafted them.
That's a
at that
pretty
position.
Decent metric, I think.
Well, that is true, but I will say there's one little fault I will see in this, because you can look at some of our own guys, and I forgot what was the examples that were given, but basically we would have players that we signed, but they would not be, I would say, were still busts in some ways. You could say that about Michael Gallup. Would he be a success story after giving that? You know what I'm saying? It's not. He's not a success story, even though we gave him a deal, after he was, after his rookie deal. And other guys become success stories later, but were not re-signed by their own team. So there's a lot of success. You can't really judge it only on this. Hey, much love to the man, Jason Renfro. With that dollar holler. And you know what he said. Go Cowboys.
Always. Go Cowboys.
You know it.
Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate you, of course.
Yes, much love to the man. And, by the way, Zachary's down to 95 points in the stream boss. Much love to Zachary. Much love to Choctaw Montana 808, and much love to Jason Renfro making it happen here. So this data that I'm talking about as far as which are hit or misses at positions in the first round, it basically takes the last 20 drafts between 2000 and 2019. Well, I want to say the last 20 drafts, but from 2020, from 2000 to 2019, that's 20 drafts. And here are the positional hit rates. At center, in the first round, out of 12 centers picked in the last 20 years, there was 1 miss in the first round. From every team.
Okay.
From every team. So 92% hit rate for centers in the first round. This is only first round. The second best position, offensive tackle. It's funny, center number 1, offensive tackle number 2. These are the best hit positions to draft in the first round. And what are we needing? What are we talking about?
Center.
And offensive tackle.
Yep.
Offensive tackle, 59% hit percentage, which is very good as well.
That's
Almost
still
60%.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and guard is next, which we could need a guard too if we move Tyler Smith. That has a 50% hit percentage. So you got 92% at center, 59% at tackle, and 50% at guard. You want to draft offensive linemen in the first round. That's what this chart tells me. And that's basically the last 20 years. Now, what's the next?
Yeah, the chances of that offensive linemen working out are obviously extremely high.
Yeah, much higher than any other position. What about linebacker? That's next. 48% chance of working out. A first-round pick. Quarterback, a 46% chance of being re-signed by that same team. So again, it's not even if you're good. It just means being re-signed by the same team. Quarterback, you flip a coin. A little less than a 50-50 chance that quarterback you draft in the first round will be with your team on his second contract. And that's a big downgrade, don't you think? I mean, if you're drafting a quarterback in the first round, it's probably going to be high. Skeptical fan in the house, dropping that $2 J-Lou holla. What did the man staying skeptical have to say?
Ooh, thank you, Skeptical fan. He said the Cowboys need to exceed expectations tomorrow.
Agreed. And the first way of exceeding expectations, you'll see in my mock draft, trade back. That's the way you exceed our expectations.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, just because obviously we've spoken now, for a handful of weeks about how much better it would be if we did trade back. And even whether we trade back or not, there's going to be downsides. There's going to be positives. I think there's more positives and more things to gain in this regard. So anyway, but yes, I'm not really sure whose expectations they're trying to exceed, because remember, if we're talking our expectations as well, very different from our front office expectations.
We always are in different alignments when it comes to the front office.
So, and by the way, thank you, Skeptical fan, because he followed that up with another dollar holler, a little sleepy emoji, and a Go Cowboys. Thank you so much, Skeptical fan. Appreciate you.
Again, much love to the man staying skeptical with a dollar drop there. I guess he's going to sleep, I think, but appreciate your love.
Yes, he
and
said
your support.
Operation Trade Back is in effect.
And hey, you're reading my mind, sir, Mr. Skeptical fan. Because again, where are we looking at? We look at offensive line, whether it's tackle or center. We draft the first round guy at that position. We're gonna probably, especially us, our numbers are even higher than this. This is NFL numbers. Our numbers at offensive line are through the roof. So there's no fucking receiver, defensive edge rusher, nose tackle, running back, quarterback that we're gonna draft in the first round that would be more important than drafting an offensive lineman, and I mean a center or a tackle. So all the signs point to that by our coaches, by our players, by the front office, by the statistics, by the numbers. We're drafting an offensive lineman in the first round. Now, again, let me just finish this. Linebacker, 48% hit or miss, right? 48% hit. Quarterback, 46% hit. Edge rusher in the first round, 44%. And defensive tackle, 40%. Then the ones that you don't want to draft in the first round that have very bad hit rates, cornerback, 38%, along with running back. Do not draft these positions early. Usually, it's not a good thing. Safety, 34% of the time, it's a hit. Tight end, first rounder, is 33% of the time. And the absolute player, the worst player to draft in the first round, positionally speaking, 27% of the time, receivers hit. So wide receivers you do not want to draft in the first round. Generally speaking.
We got very lucky with CeeDee Lamb.
We did. Huh? That's my point. Him, Devontae Smith got drafted. He got paid. And now Justin Jefferson. So these are the three big ones from that draft. It was that's a bigger draft than most when you hit the first round receivers hitting. You got Jerry Jeudy, and you got what's his name that went to jail for driving drunk and crashing and burning. Car exploded. I forgot was not Ruggs. Was it Ruggs? The point is that there's a lot of guys out there that are just bombed as receivers in the first round. So the thing is this. It would be funny to me that the Cowboy, again, the average hit rate for any guy at any position is 43%. That's kind of the median there, the middle. So you're really looking at like offensive line, maybe a linebacker, if you want to risk that. But offensive line and linebacker is first round material. Quarterbacks down to receivers are the worst. That's it. Everything in between. So the Cowboys will probably start focusing on the positions at the bottom of the chart. I'm making a joke. Because that would mean cornerback, running back, safety, tight end, receiver in the first round. Any of those positions. Why? The reasoning is because we're so crazy from this goddamn clown show already that sometimes I think the Cowboys are just look to draft the guys that don't hit on second contracts so they don't have to pay them. And I'm just joking, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, the Cowboys.
You have to wonder what their ultimate strategy is.
They're pulling. It's pulling teeth to get these guys assigned. They're all, even their old guys. They're big. They're good players on a second contract. Now, if you're Michael Gallup, Terrence Steele, and you tore your ACL, you get a contract from these guys. If you're a superstar, you ain't getting shit. So we know we got to concentrate on this draft, guys, and it is without question bar none, the offensive line. All right? And we know we got Tyler Smith right now, him, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele. Hopefully they'll have a better year this year. And then we have an opening at center and tackle. We talked about tackles yesterday. All right? We talked about possible tackle pickups that we can look to in this draft. And, let me look here for a second here. Let me see if I can find it.
And while Mr. MCF does that, I'm going to just remind everybody to take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And, of course, hop on the Discord link for that's in the description box down below.
Well, I hope I have it somewhere. Damn, I think I might have lost it.
Oh. So we found it and then we lost it. All good. Let me go ahead and hit up a few comments here.
Yeah, hit up the comments. I'm going to try to see one last look here.
So, Drums and Cowboys said, trading back makes sense and fight the urge to get Brooks in the second. We need to get offensive line help and some linebackers, which, again, O-line is pretty much the one consistent thing that everyone needs, so to speak. So, anyway, back to you, baby.
I found it, and here it is. And here's basically the breakdown of the draft. I think some of those numbers are a little skewed from the rounds that we're picking in there, but when we're looking at the first round, baby, I know we talked about tackles yesterday, some possibilities.
Yeah.
At tackle, and here, listen to these names. If we were to take a 24, there's not going to be a Joe Alt, who's the best tackle in the draft. Troy Fautanu, who's not going to be Joe Alt's projected at 7. Fautanu is projected at 10. Olu Fashanu is projected at 12. J.C. Latham projected at 13. Talisi Fuaga projected at 15. Amarius Mims projected at 21. And then Tyler Guyton, big fall at 28 from Oklahoma. I do not like a lot of the things about him. I'd rather go after Arizona tackle Jordan Morgan, who's placed more at 31, 32, 33 spot there, if you're going to go tackle that early. And after that, to me, he's one of the better guys, Kingsley Salmataya from BYU. We talked about him, but that's second round now. Now we're looking at basically a real far back trade back or second round. By the way, first rounder, Jason Renfro, dropping that $2.79. A holla.
Woo! Thank you so much, Jason. Do you know what he had to say with that?
Hit me with it.
Let's begin for our 6, starting with this draft.
We're open, Jason. I want you guys to grade us and let us know what you think. I'll post it on Twitter and Discord, our mock draft, but I want you to tell me what you think. We ran it earlier today. We ran it a bunch of times, and this was the consensus we got here with the best possible. I think we both agreed upon.
Yes.
Putting it together. So much love to Jason Renfro. This is where it starts now for that 6 and beyond. So, as I'm saying, the offensive lineman. And you can see there, ranked 40th on CBS's poll, there is what's his name? I can't forget. Sumataya. So he's the guy I think that I would look at in the second round, at the very best second rounder there probably. And if I go down this list of the consensus numbers, after Sumataya, which is around 40th, right? 43, 40, 41, the next guy is 70th. So we're looking now deep in that third round now, all of a sudden.
That's a
big drop-off. So to me, with the Cowboys, and listen, here's another little, I want to give you a little thing that Daniel Jeremiah spoke about today. Mm-hmm. He said there's teams currently right now or will be done tomorrow that will be trading up for offensive tackles. So
that does not bode well for us, obviously.
Well, I mean, depends. Because I look at that as the opposite. I say it does bode well for us. Because now the Cowboys, even more of a reason to go draft the center. Because there'll be less tackles now available in front of us. There'll be tackles now that people are jumping us for because they know we need an offensive lineman. They're going to jump us for, maybe even jump to our spot to take an offensive lineman if we don't want that up. If they're going to take a tackle, if you're going to take the 7th or 8th best tackle, then I'd trade down. If you're going to take the 7th or 8th tackle at 24, then let someone do that. Don't do it. Let's not be the team that does it. So to me, if you're really desperate, you're going to go and get, a lot of teams seem desperate to get an offensive tackle. And the word is that a lot of teams are trying to trade up for tackles. Now we know the first 5 tackles on this list, the first 6 tackles, they're going to be off the board by pick 15. There'll be a couple left in the middle there, like Mims and Guyton and Morgan. That's it. First rounders are gone, and 1 second rounder, and then you're in the third round. So tackles, if you don't have a tackle that you really like fall to you at 24, there is no way the Cowboys should draft a tackle. And that's why I think we look at the centers now. And you look at centers, there's two guys that Cowboys I'm focusing in on. Although there's a couple of the names I will mention that was kind of a tough kind of decision to make for this draft, for this mock draft. So when I look at the guys that Cowboys brought in, and you can see the list here on round 1 at the bottom of that screen, at 33 is, you can see center Jackson Powers Johnson, JPJ from Oregon. And then they have Graham Barton from Duke, ranked 51st on their CBS Sports poll here, whatever it is, sports ranking. But those are the two guys you want to look at in this first round. And their rankings have changed recently. Graham Barton has jumped basically in the spot of JPJ, and JPJ has dropped back later in the first round. So, and it's going to show in this mock draft what I'm talking about. So, really, there's only one other center I would look at, and he's not even a guy the Cowboys brought in. We'll talk about him in a minute. First, let me start. When you look at our thumbnail, you'll see two guys right there in the middle. And we're going to start with the Duke Blue Devil, Graham Barton, right on the right, number 62. Scouting report for him, of course, Duke Blue Devil. He's a senior, 3-star recruit. He's 6'5", 316 pounds. He's a bigger guy than JPJ, 316. He's like wider. He's like a little tree stump. He's like a fire hydrant. He played in only 9 games in 2023. Much love, Jason Renfro with that dollar holler.
Thank you, Jason. Do you know what he had to say?
I know he said at least another one on that board. What did he say?
He said, "Go Cowboys."
Our Cowboys.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
Yeah, knocking some points off that board, down to 88 CeeDee Lamb points for Zachary Carrasco. So yeah, if you look, I'm showing this board here for a second because you're looking at Graham Barton in blue over here for the Duke Blue Devils. He played only 9 games. He missed time twice last year with a lower body injury. But he had 258 passing plays. He only allowed 11 pressures and only allowed 2 sacks. And this is all at left tackle. Remember, Graham Barton can play all over the line. He's not just a center. So this is at tackle he played, allowing only 11 pressures and only 2 sacks on 258 passing plays. Then Duke also finished this past year ranking first in the ACC in sacks allowed. They only allowed 17. And tackles for loss only allowed 4. They finished ranking 3rd in the ACC in rushing touchdowns. And who was the biggest part of this whole thing? Graham Barton, right there, number 62. He was the cornerstone of that offensive line with the Blue Devils. And again, their opponents aren't that great, but that offensive line was one of the ones that were feared last year. He had 505 total snaps, 258 total pass blocking snaps, only allowed 11 pressures, 2 sacks, and only had 6 penalties for the entire season last year. Pretty solid. He did miss 2 games, but what's the good on Mr. number 62 over here? The good on Graham Barton, very explosive off the ball, off the snap. He gets immediately into full throttle. So he has a good burst.
Yeah. Extremely
flexible for his size. Being a tree stump, he's flexible, able to get low and stay low. He has good quickness when he pulls, and he has the hip flex to get around and steal off defenders. Has very good agility to burst into the second level against linebackers or on the outside on screens. Shows good footwork on reach blocks. Hand placement is very good. Experience playing inside as an inside offensive lineman. When we talk about guard or center, is where he is really, really good at. And that experience is why he's getting into the first round right now on a lot of these boards because of that center ability and the versatility he has. He's also very, very intelligent, great football IQ, reads the defense extremely well before the snap, and then during the play also is a consistent finisher. And like I said, guys, yes, this is just a couple days ago. Graham Barton was ranked 29th on most boards. Now he's ranked 24th on most boards, right where we're sitting. Will Graham Barton fall to us? I would have said definitely last week. I think that's changed. Now, but let's look at the bad. I think right now he may be drafted before we can even grab him. The bad things about Graham Barton, biggest problem is his arm length. He's stumpy. He got stumpy arms. Way below the average length required to be effective consistently in the NFL. So a lot of people are saying, well, maybe you don't want him at tackle anymore, which is which most people are looking at him at inside, guard or center. A lot of people are saying guard could be the best spot for him. He struggled with penalties. He had 6 because he lost a lot of leverage and tried to arm bar defenders, got caught doing that, and then ends up getting called for a hold. This is because of his lack of length. His arm size is the biggest issue, the arm length. So again, you're seeing arm length issues all the way down the list on his penalties, on his ability to, losing leverage. Now, another problem he has is getting his hands up on second level blocks. He gets there fast, but he don't get his hands up fast enough.
Yeah.
He also had issues. There you go. He also had issues with speed rushers. So when using that speed around the corner, again, they get around him before he can get set. And that would be a problem if he's playing tackle. He's not playing tackle, though, if he's with the Cowboys. Panicked a couple of times on tape when defenders ran the stunt against him. One guy went inside. The inside guy went outside, and the outside guy came back inside. He panicked a couple of times, got lost there. And then, again, I told you, hand placement is good, very good, but it could be better, especially not on running downs, but on pass blocking sets. It needs some reinforcement. So the bad is most of this has to do with his arm length. The problem is you can't really change that.
I was going to say, yeah, it's not like he's going to grow his arms longer or shorter or something.
I mean, you're seeing Graham Barton here on the right of the two centers between the question mark. You can just see the arm length is completely different just on visuals here. But just on Stumpy 62 and then 58, just stretching his arms out. You know,
that is one of those things where you can teach technique. You can teach a lot of things. You can't really teach someone to make their arms longer.
So how does he fit with the Cowboys? Graham Barton's college career was overwhelmingly filled with obstacles. He played through the COVID pandemic, 2 losing seasons in Duke. He switched positions multiple times, endured a head coach change. But regardless of all of that, this guy, Graham Barton, has stayed steady, positive, and most importantly, extremely effective no matter what's going on around him. He offers teams great flexibility and versatility, having played across the entire offensive line. And given his shorter arm length, even though he's tackled last year in the college ranks, a shift to guard or center is where he seems best for success in the NFL. So what the coaches are going to love about him is his burst, his explosiveness, snapping the ball off the line of scrimmage, and his ability to stay on the block consistently. His agility and high degree of football IQ make him an ideal fit for any offensive line, and definitely one that likes to have, inside linemen moving into that second level linebackers, getting some good blocking inside for the run game. Graham Barton is your guy. I like this. I like this guy a lot. He does well showing up in solid, with solid technique, core strength, and great balance to extend blocks and create good sized lanes in the run game. This is very, we say it's Zeke or Dowdle or whose fault it is and this and that. Guys, part of the reason why we let, Biotish go is because his run game ability, although started off pretty amazing in his rookie year, run blocking, they never got better. It got worse. So that's where a lot of the inability to run inside on short yardage came from. Now, this guy, Graham Barton, would be a perfect run center guard type of guy. And, we'd have him at center. So the arm length is the biggest issue, but inside it becomes less of an issue.
Okay.
And that means there'll be less penalties and less times lost on snaps and stuff, on stunts and that kind of stuff.
So usage matters here.
Usage, but how you use them, right? How you place them. Kind of like Tyler Smith when we drafted him. Like, we don't want him at tackle. We had to put him at tackle, and he did great. But we didn't want him there because he had penalties. He plays better inside. We were thinking guard, and that's where he's really Hall of Famer, elite. He's great at tackle, but he's elite at guard. So I think Graham Barton is probably pretty good at tackle, but he's probably elite at guard and pretty close to elite at center. So this is an offensive line guy, interior, guard or center, that is great at blocking, explosive off the line of scrimmage, and great at blocking in the run game specifically. Now, his footwork leaves him a little bit susceptible to edge rushers. But again, if he's not playing as a tackle, he's not covering edge rushers. So that's how you can kind of, help him out there. Again, the timing to his hand strike in the passing game as a tackle is sometimes out of sync and allowing faster and quick twitch defenders. Like if he goes up against Micah, if he's playing tackle, he'll get burned a lot by any quick defensive players. So again, he needs plenty of coaching in that aspect. Not in his game, but in that aspect, he needs a lot more coaching in that blocking technique And it's vital if Barton is going to succeed in the NFL. And if you're looking at him at tackle, it's very, very important that he gets coached properly. But at guard and center, it's going to be a lot easier to coach him. So that's my thing. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but I'm going to be honest, guys. In my mock draft, I looked for him over JPJ. But let me talk about JPJ, and maybe there's a reason for that, right? Because there's one thing that bothers me about JPJ, or else he'd be my number one guy. Right. Probably the reason why he fell in the rankings a little bit. He's also a center guard, Jackson Powers Johnson. And you see him here again from the Oregon Ducks center. He's a junior, 4-star recruit. He's 6'3", 324 pounds. So size-wise, like weight-wise, he's actually what? He's actually I think actually the same size almost. I think actually
I was gonna say they sound almost identical.
Let me just look back here because I'm looking at what. Yeah, he's 6'5", 316. So actually, I'm surprised. But the other JPJ is actually a bigger, stockier guy. I'm surprised about that because this guy's more like a stump. But yet JPJ is literally a stump. I mean, he's 6'3". He's 2 inches shorter. He is 10 pounds bigger. So he's just an all-around bigger guy. He's a bigger human. In his junior year, JPJ, all right, Jackson Powers Johnson was awarded the starting position at center for Oregon. He was dominant at center. And he had 829 offensive snaps. He allowed 0 sacks and only 1 pressure. Now, Graham Barton had some good numbers. But JPJ has better numbers. Better numbers when it comes to, the offensive snaps. Now, how much do they pass compared to Graham Barton? It sounds like Graham Barton was a lot more, and had a little more experience in the pass blocking side, but he was a run blocker. Graham Barton, Jackson Powers Johnson, guys, he's a fantastic, a much better pass blocker than Graham Barton. So again, as a center, he had 829 offensive snaps. He allowed 0 sacks, 1 pressure. Among starting offensive linemen in the Pac-12, Johnson finished with the fewest sacks allowed, fewest pressures allowed, and was one of the most effective run blockers in 2023. So maybe Graham Barton is like a run blocker's dream, but this guy's JPJ is one of the best run blockers at center in the league, in college. So that you can see why he's overall better. So why wouldn't I look for him first? I'll explain. So again, guys, he was awarded the Remington Award at the end of the season last year. It's an award given to the best center in the country.
Oh, wow.
So when it comes to his skills that pay the bills, that make meals in Brazil, that is JPJ. He is your best all-around center in this draft from Oregon. He was also nominated to play at this year's Senior Bowl. And during the week, he made a name for himself in the practices and, really was showing out as one of the best blockers in Mobile, Alabama. And then he left early with an injury.
Oh, shit.
So, we'll get into this a little bit more. But that's JPJ's kind of overview. All right, let's look at the good things. Last year, 829 total snaps, 497 pass blocking snaps. Maybe 30 less than Graham Barton. So they had about the same. Graham Barton still had allowed a lot more stuff. Now, here's the thing, though. The one bad thing, he allowed no sacks and 1 pressure, but he had 9 penalties. That's 3 more than Graham Barton. And Graham Barton's not good with penalties, so that means JPJ's biggest issue at this moment seems to be penalties. And that's not good when you're looking at interior play. So, he should already have that, figured out. So the good things about JPJ, he's the prototypical build for an inside offensive lineman and center guard. He also looks like a fire hydrant. Extremely athletic and explodes off the line of scrimmage, which is something I wanted to see for both guys. Both guys have this. But is most visible when he goes to the second level. You can see his speed to the second level, the patience to get there, but then the speed to explode into that second level against linebackers is second to none, basically, guys. Incredible lower body power, and he uses that to kind of twist and torque defenders out of position. Very quick reaction time for him. He has a very aggressive demeanor on running blocks, so I love that. He's maybe not as great as Graham Barton, but he is right next to him, and he's aggressive. Run blocking. I love it. Now, that could be why he gets penalties, but he does have versatility to play all 3 interior offensive line positions. What am I talking about? Center, left guard, right guard. So he can play all three spots inside. Don't talk about now. Graham Barton can play tackle. He cannot. He plays left guard, right guard, or center.
Okay.
So he's all full interior guy. So versatility to play anywhere inside. And when you look at all his tape, guys, this is no joke. I've read over many analysts. Not a single bad snap on any tape.
Oh, wow.
For this guy. So if you want to get the by far number one guy in the league at center, this is the guy to get. You don't have the versatility on all five spots, but you got the interior versatility, guard or center. But those penalties stick out. And that injury sticks out. So what's this deal with him? Penalties is by far his biggest issue on the field.
Hey, he's a Cowboy already.
The issue happens when he tries to cling onto faster pass rushers. So when he gets up against an interior guy who is a quicker, faster pass rusher, he gets called for more penalties. So also he needs more upper body strength. He has great lower body strength, but not upper body strength. Right. And sometimes he gets bullied around a little bit. He has also a very upright playing style. We could bend his knees a little more. That's technique that could be taught. But again, in college, the problem's not a big deal when you're standing up a little more. In college, in the NFL, he get forklifted or pushed back easily if he's not low enough in his set.
I know, but even the weight side of things, like all that stuff sounds like it's something we can work with.
Maybe, but I mean, again, everything sounds great, prototypical build, good body for a center, great, everything like that. But just a couple of his technique things, playing upright too much. Now, he also can overset and move upfield on passing plays, allowing pass rushers to take quick angles inside. He starts sticking out, going down the field, the screen blocker. He gets beat inside quicker. He needs to at least chip and block. He doesn't do that sometimes. Again, another issue for him, like Graham Barton. Arm length is still below average. Okay. So even though Graham Barton's way below average, he's below average too. Centers usually are. Let's be honest.
All right.
But the other issue that's scary about him, even though he was fantastic in his 1 year starting for Oregon at center, that was his only year. His only year of starting experience in college. So, again, you can understand why these two guys are floating around and jumping over each other back and forth every week. It's been this guy here, Jackson Powers Johnson's been rated over Graham Barton pretty much since the beginning of the draft, talk.
Okay.
Earlier in the year. But a couple days ago, last week, the consensus board has Graham Barton at 24, and Jackson Powers Johnson was 24 on this list.
Yeah.
Graham Barton was 29. They basically just flipped.
Okay.
So now Jackson Powers Johnson drops to 29, and everybody, all the analysts, all the experts, they have Graham Barton at 24, switching spots there with Jackson Powers Johnson, who's down at 29 right now.
Heck,
so
by the time we start the draft, I wouldn't be surprised if they switch again.
It could happen. But I think what's giving him the advantage, and I think the biggest thing that scares me about Powers Johnson from the Oregon Ducks is the injury issue, which has been a concussion thing. I think you guys mentioned it. Some people are afraid too many concussions at center on the offensive line. That could make it, he could be in and out all year in his career, and that's not what we want. So we need consistency. Graham Barton, he can be versatile, flexible across the offensive line, short arms, and has issues maybe in the pass blocking a little more than the run blocking very good. You can weigh this out however you want. But in my own mind, I'm going to be honest, when I did this mock draft, guys, I already had kind of put Barton Graham in front of JPJ. Now, let me finish this here. Just to finish up before we get to the actual mock draft, and that's the end of the show, guys. But Jackson Powers Johnson, everybody's saying this, as a pure center, he's by far the best center in this year's draft. And he's surrounded by a lot of solid centers. Keep that in mind. So it's not like he's good against, he's not the best center amongst shitty centers. He's amongst very good, solid centers. He's the best. So JPJ, if you want a pure center, to me, this is the better pick. If you only want him as, we know the Cowboys want the versatility, though. So he can play guard if the Cowboys really wanted him to. He's had to face more and stiffer competition than the Duke Blue Devils and Graham Barton. So they've had play better competition when he in Oregon, and he managed to stay clean, allow 0 sacks during all 3 years. If he didn't start, he never allowed a sack. And again, only had 1 pressure allowed last year as a starter. So a fantastic blocker He does have those 9 penalties last year, but he's shown to be consistent on tape with both his power and his technique. He's ready to play in the NFL from day one. So JPJ is a day one guy. Now, in pass protection, JPJ shows effortless mobility and rapid burst. Against bull rushers, he has the power to hands up and hold up displaced defenders, maintain a deep and clean pocket. Does not need to find a balance. He does need to find balance, though, at times. So we talked about his little off-balance stuff sometimes. He goes out there a little too fast, oversets, coming up too fast, drifting too high, which is detrimental on wide alignments. So this problem should be easily solved as he gains more experience and better coaching in the NFL. He also needs to play a little bit lower, less upright, like I said. This playing style makes his chest an easy target, which any defensive tackle with long reach can just shove him and move him out of the block. But overall, again, the guy from the Oregon Ducks, number 58, JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson, is a pure enforcer as a run blocker. As a blocker, run or pass. And even though there's still a couple technical nuances that he needs to learn and maybe adapt to, get better with quickly, in doing so, if he makes a couple adjustments, he's a Pro Bowl lineman every year, perennial Pro Bowl lineman at center. And again, this will be not just in his year 4, 5, and 6, early in his career. We're looking at another hit if we pick up JPJ on the left. And a pretty good damn close hit in Graham Barton on the right. So, any quick thoughts on this from you, baby, or from any guy do you have?
Tyrone Church, I'm sorry, has the funniest comment out of all of this. He said, fun fact, TJ Bass started over JPJ.
That's funny.
So I don't know why that caught me so off guard there. But yeah, I mean, man, it is so close. I don't think we can go quote-unquote wrong with either one of these guys. Let me make that clear. But it does seem like JPJ has a few more concerns. And again, you can't really do anything about short arms. You can definitely do things about technique and other stuff like that. But the injury thing is the one thing that really, like you said, it
concussion
gives me
specifically,
pause. It makes me stop. So, yeah. I'm just saying that I personally don't feel as comfortable with JPJ. So Stanley Frederick, hopefully I'm saying that right, saying, Jerry Jones McCarthy, Michael Penix are the most NFL-ready quarterbacks. That would make an immediate impact.
Do not drop the quarterback. Hell no.
So Tokyo saying, running back Marshawn Lloyd in the third and linebacker Junior Colson would be nice, but won't happen. Rolando Rodriguez saying, JPJ looks more like country strong. I hope the Cowboys draft him to protect Dak. I can't wait for the draft.
Yeah, tomorrow, guys, we'll know if they took him or not. But it's how they take him is the bigger question.
That's what he said. McCarthy's talking best player available, so...
Who's the best out of these two?
If they're both available, I mean, if you're going off this current list,
well,
like I said, it's definitely not JPJ.
Well, let's give you the mock draft. What do you say? All right?
Let's do it.
Now, round one, I'm not going to show you what we did yet, but let me do round one. For those that know the players, this is something we're going to probably see in tomorrow's draft. So, day one, you're going to see our reactions. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, I see my screen jumping around with a gift from Jason Renfro, gifting a membership to the man Tyrone Church.
Woo! Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate you, and congrats to you, Tyrone Church.
Hell yeah.
Drop them if you got them, guys. And again, if you do want to join up into the MCF membership, of course, feel free to do so. And there's also the gifting memberships like Jason just did, where you can share the love with someone in the MCF family.
So congrats to Tyrone Church, and big shout outs to Jason Renfro making this happen. Now in first place on the gifting board, all by himself over Skeptical Fan. Is he going for that ever elusive repeat? He may be. Much love to Jason Renfro. Let me just put you up on the board here.
By the way, Tyrone Church did say that if we're going to stay at 24, that he's going to take Graham. That he would take Graham.
Yeah, and that is exactly what I was planning on doing in my mock. But let me tell you, it didn't happen.
Oh, man. Now, Luis Ortiz said, I don't care which one we get. I just want a center in the first 2 rounds.
Hey.
So.
And that's going to bring me, I'll talk about it in a minute, because there is another guy that I looked at in a very real way. And his name is Zach Frazier from West Virginia. He's the only other offensive lineman I would consider drafting in the second round out, or first or second round. And I don't mean first. I don't think Fisher is going to be a guy we're going to draft in the first round. But Zach Fisher is a trade back option in my mind. So let's get into this because I want before we get to Zach Frazier at center, we'll talk about who the wife and I mutually drafted for this mock draft. Let us know what you think. Let's go round by round here, and let's start off with the NFL draft portion of things. Picks 1 to 32, and what happened? First pick of the draft with the Bears, Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels went to the Washington Commanders. Drake May went to the Patriots, the third pick. The fourth pick to the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver. J.C. Latham to the Chargers with the fifth pick. Malik Neighbors to the Giants, wide receiver there for the sixth pick. Joe Alt, the first offensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans at 7. Dallas Turner to the Falcons at 8. Olumuyiwa Fashuno, offensive tackle there, was 9th to the Bears. And the Jets got Rome Odunze, 10th overall pick. Now, 11th pick, J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota Viking. Tulisi Fuaga to the Eagles at 12, which again, Tulisi Fuaga is a guy that we were looking at. I mean, he's one of the top offensive linemen in this draft in tackles. Now, Michael Penix Jr., Penix, to the Raiders at pick 13. So that's obviously showing you quarterbacks are a hot commodity here. Troy Fatuanu to the Saints at 14. Brock Bowers to the Colts at 15. Terrion Arnold to the Seahawks at 16. Quinion Mitchell to the Jacksonville Jaguars at 17. Byron Murphy from Texas, a great interior player going to the Bengals in this mock draft that we did. Then Amarius Mims, who was another. Now we're talking about the 7th offensive lineman off the board. Amarius Mims went to the Washington Commanders. So you see our offense, the
very heavy offensive.
Very. Kind of going in a line, a lot of people trading up, trying to trade up for offensive tackles. Amarius Mims off the board at 19. Tyler Guyton, a guy I hope the Cowboys do not get, but a lot of people have mocked him to us at 24. Tyler Guyton in this mock going to the Steelers at 20.
Ooh, thank God.
Then Jerzon Newton, or again, he's, Johnny Newton. This is his nickname, interior defensive tackle, going to the Dolphins at 21. And guys, now we're just 3 picks away, right? We got 22, 23, and then we're up. Mm-hmm. The Broncos in our mock draft at pick 22, unfortunately took out one of our guys, and that was from Duke, Graham Barton.
Oh, damn.
So they went with they knew that 24 probably is going to be, he's gone by then. 24th pick, Graham Barton not get there. Graham Barton in our mock draft went at 22. Then Choop Robinson went to the Vikings right in front of us with pick 23. And then the Cowboys at pick 24. What should the Cowboys do? You got names on this board right now. You got Jared Verse, Lautu, Brian Thomas Jr., Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, receivers there, Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback, Cooper DeJean, quarterback up there, right? Bo Nix is the only guy left at quarterback. And that could be the key. Because in this deal, guys, we pulled the trigger and traded with the Baltimore Ravens. We went down to 30, and they went up to 24, and they got Bo Nix, quarterback. So I don't know if you guys like the trade or not, because what I did was they offered me a trade to get that 24th pick, and they gave me their 30th pick. They gave me their 93rd pick in round 3.
Okay.
And the 4th pick, 113th pick of the draft. So I got 2 more players in almost the top 100, but definitely in the back end of that top 100. And then we still got a first rounder, second rounder, and our own third rounder. So we got almost 5 picks in that really heavy part of the draft where we need to have some value picks in there. So,
and again, at least on the MCW side of things, the reason it definitely made sense for me is you said it. 2 of the top players on our list at 24 weren't there anymore, and the next guy we had on our list was still going to be there at 30. So
it was a great trade
not down. Exactly. So the only reason to stay at 24 is if we still have the chance to get one of these other 2
If Graham Barton's the guy they wanted, they might have
taken
taken him. They might have taken Graham Barton there.
And we obviously valued center over other positions.
Yes.
Personally. So Jason Renfro, thank you once more. He's representing
Hey.
with the $1.60 holler.
Hey.
Go Cowboys.
Much love to the man with the plan. Go Cowboys. And I'm actually updating the board for him as well here right now because he's jumped into 6. He had 12th place for Jason Renfro all the way up to that 6th spot. Much love to Jason Renfro. Repping it here on MCF. Go Cowboys.
Tyrone Church, by the way, said, love it. 5 picks in the top 150.
Yeah.
Asmodeus said, I'm down with that move.
Yeah, I mean, again, I hope we get a deal like that. I can't.
Lewis Ortiz said, I definitely want to trade back.
Exactly. And listen, I had other offers for a higher pick in the 3rd, but then that's it, right? I wanted a 3rd and a 4th. So I got us a pick at 93 and 113. And that's a big drop off because after 87, there's no pick to the 5th round. So I boosted us up. I went down in the 1st and rolled the dice. So how does the rest of this thing go? They took Bo Nix, quarterback, the Ravens. At pick 25, the Packers took Cooper DeJean. 26, the Bucks took Jared Verse. At 27, Latu went off the board, which is a very good defensive pass rusher, but Cowboys don't have to get pass rushers right now. The Cardinals got him at 27. Brian Thomas Jr. at 28 to the Bills. The Detroit Lions took Kool-Aid McKinstry's cornerback at 29. And at 30, your boy MCF said, no, we're not going to do another crazy trade or go backwards. We're going to just go grab that number 58 from Oregon, Jackson Powers Johnson. Let's power this bitch up. So that is my choice, baby. I know we both wanted Graham Barton, but he was gone. So we traded back. We were rolling the dice. We got 2 bonus picks. And listen, I was thinking if we were not going to get JPJ, guess what I was going to do? Maybe use that to trade back a little bit farther back and either get that Sumataya tackle or Zach Frazier at center. And let me just tell you this, guys. See, that's the only center after these 2 guys we just spoke about. Zach Frazier is the only other guy that I would draft in this draft to start for the Cowboys. Those 3 guys. So Zach Frazier, I don't want to forget about him, but he's not a first-round pick. He's an early second-round pick. And if you trade back far enough, not 30th, but you trade back to 35, or 40, you want to think about Sumataya at tackle or Zach Frazier at center. If you trade back, he's a late first at the earliest, but he's more projected to be an early second-round pick. And if you go with a first-round pick for him, you're overreaching now when you can get a JPJ instead. But if you don't get JPJ and Graham Barton's off the board and you want Zach Frazier, you maybe do another trade down there. You trade back a little bit more. So, again, that's what I would look at. Again, number 1 would be Graham Barton. But if you want a pure center, I don't have a problem with either of these 2 guys you see here in front of us, in blue or in green. But if you don't get either guy and we got to trade back another time and get a couple extra picks, then do not miss on Zach Frazier at center. After that, I don't care which center you tell me, it's just not going to be the guy. It's just not going to be enough, and maybe Brock Hoffman starts. Or maybe TJ Bass starts. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at that situation right there for that first pick of the draft. Now, I'm going to say this here, and I want to make sure I kind of throw in there a couple quick names in let me put this, in the final round of the draft, the final day of the draft, day 3, I want to put up a name real quick here. TCU and Denton High School graduate Brandon Coleman, running back. Now, if you look closely, and I don't know why I'm saying running. He's not running back, but he's a very impressive offensive lineman, I think, here.
Sorry, guys.
Brandon,
these names.
No, I got confused. Brandon Coleman, as an offensive lineman, could be a steal as a day 3 kind of pick. He's from the area. He went to TCU. Cowboys' old offensive line coach, Mike Soliari, ran the TCU Pro Day for the offensive line workout. So he knows more than anybody else about this hidden gem, Brandon Coleman, a day 3 offensive lineman. So keep that name in your mind for day 3. And by the way, one other guy, these are guys we haven't talked about at all. I want to bring up one last name at quarterback. Some of you guys are like, ooh, we get to replace Dak. No. But a 7th rounder or an undrafted name to keep in mind. And I saw some video on this guy, very small school quarterback, but he looks like the real deal as far as like just the basic ability to throw the ball. Okay. Incredible. Check out Bridgewater State quarterback James Cahoon. Cahoon. The guy is unbelievable throwing the ball. He's almost doesn't look like it's real. Like the way he throws it across his body, laser, it's crazy. But he's from a very small school, Bridgewater State. So He may be an undrafted. He may be a 7th rounder for the Cowboys. Surprise there. Most don't know him because he's coming from a D3 school, but he should be a priority, at the very least, undrafted free agent, and then try to fight for his role as a backup quarterback on most rosters. And if the Cowboys want to fuck with a quarterback, I know we got, Trey Lance is our 4th round pick technically, but if you want to get an undrafted quarterback to throw in the mix, I want this guy, James Cahoon. Look him up. You'll be impressed, guys. So those are my kind of notes in my breakdown. But now let's get to the official MCF mock draft. And guys, give me your rating. Tell me what you think. Because we worked hard on this, trying to get a good mock draft kind of mindset between the wife and I.
Of course.
And here's what it was, guys. Of course, with pick 30, after we traded back, I'm going to put it up on the screen here. We traded our 24th pick and got the 30th pick from the Ravens and added in there a round 3 93rd pick overall and a round 4 113th pick overall. As you can see, a big space between 3rd and 5th round. That's where these 2 picks would fall, right there, right at the 113. We'd have 5 picks in the top 113. That's fantastic. I think from having 3 to 5 would be great. Now, the other major thing here is, who do we pick after that trade down? In the 2nd round, after getting a center, Jackson Powers Johnson, I went for the guy that I know we could listen. I know here at 56, it's gonna probably be Jonathan Brooks, running back from Texas.
Still seems like the most likely. I agree.
I will not pick him. I refuse to pick him because that's a Jones's draft. That's not MCF draft. So what's his name? Simatau was already off the board when we picked I was hoping he'd drop down. I knew he wasn't going to. Still, I'm still happy with my draft pick because we ended up getting Blake Fisher in the 2nd round, the offensive tackle for Notre Dame. And his stock has been jumping. So I think Blake Fisher, we got a center and now a tackle. Those are starters for the future to keep this offensive line sturdy and good. So I think both these guys could also obviously start right away. We talked about Blake Fisher the other day, some issues, but with a little bit of time, he will be right in there. He can play left or right side at tackle. Jackson Powers Johnson can play center, guard, left or right side. So we basically got starters and backups in 2 picks. So that's the 1 and 2. Now, I will say this, guys. Shortly after Blake Fisher was off the board, Jonathan Brooks went off the board. Trey Benson went off the board.
Yep.
A couple other running backs went off the board. So I went with running back from Wisconsin, Braylon Allen, at pick 87. I'm like, fuck it. We'll just go for a running back at 87. And that's the draft right there, guys, in case you don't know. Now you know. Jackson Powers Johnson, that first pick at 30. At 56, Blake Fisher. And then running back Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. Been working out with Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. He has power. He's all around good. He's got the ability to be a sturdy workhorse for the Cowboys in multiple different ways. And I'd say he's basically your de facto starter, in my opinion, as a running back in our running back by committee situation. And look at the bonus picks, baby. Look at the bonus picks. Look at the guys I picked up with pick 93 and pick 113. Wide receiver Malik Washington from Virginia, which I loved it wasn't the Senior Bowl. It was a Shrine Bowl. This guy took over, athletic, making plays all over the field. I don't know his college life, but I know what he's done when he's been trying out for the NFL. And this guy looks like a real deal kind of player.
Yeah, he's certainly impressed.
Get a receiver in there. I wanted to go for talent. I wanted to get these are bonus picks. I didn't care what need was at this point. I just wanted talent. So we went.
Remember how we kind of said that after we target maybe 1 or 2 positions, and even before that, this entire draft is basically just a giant game of best player available. We need so many things, he can't go wrong. Just pick the best guy who's still left. We definitely need him and can play him.
After center, tackle, and running back, that just increased pass protection, bolstered the run game, whether it's running the ball or blocking the run. And then you throw in there a receiver like Malik Washington to throw into the mix of Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, and Turpin. These are our backups now I'm talking about. So an end of the 3rd round, beginning of the 4th round pick like Malik Washington is a superstar kind of pick, I think, at that point of the draft. In my opinion, I know maybe I'm overvaluing him, but I love the player. And then, baby, this is the roll of the dice we discussed. With that other pick early in the 4th round, we took interior defensive lineman T'Vondre Sweat, who dropped from second-round possibilities now into the early 4th round. I didn't want to wait any longer because look at the drop-off after that. So I'm like, let's just grab him now, baby. I know you're gonna hear the boos from some people. If he gets to the 4th round, and that's a big if, and we end up getting a trade back situation, we have a 4th rounder, target someone like T'Vondre Sweat. I'm not saying he's gonna be a partner. He's gonna have some weight issues. It's a roll of the dice, but he's not a 1st or 2nd rounder anymore.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about 4th round risk. I'll roll the dice for a possible, high level player if you can tweak him a little bit. And, we take the loss on a 4th rounder. I mean, shit, we take losses on a lot of 4th rounders, but we've usually done really great on 4th rounders. So that's the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks, guys. 4 of the 5 would be offense. I know, we're going offense heavy. But then the other one's going to be out there to help Mozzie Smith. The next 2 picks are defense. And yeah, I went defense here. With my 5th round pick, we went with Penn State Kalen King, who's definitely someone's going to push someone like Nashawn right out the fucking door, possibly. So, Kalen King, not a starter, but a depth player. I think a player that, to me is a guy that, can at least be special teams, and maybe we can work him into the rotation of cornerbacks in the future, right? But we're talking about 5th rounder now. These are not supposed to be starters now, right? I know we got Bland. We think everybody we get in the 5th, 6th round starters. No. But I want to bring up another position, linebacker. I know I could have gone a little earlier with a couple guys that were banged up and injured. I know the Cowboys like, what's that guy, Peyton Wilson, but he's banged up and injured a little bit. So I said, let's stay in Texas and get Jalen Ford. Now look, I would have taken Kentucky's, what was the guy from Kentucky that the Cowboys like at linebacker? Damn, there he is. Trevin Wallace. I would have taken him, but he was gone already at this point in the 5th round. Remember, guys, we went from 113 to 174. So that's when we lost a couple of names I wanted to get. But I went with Kalen King at cornerback because I believe personally we need help at corner. But I don't know how much help this is going to... This is more of a depth help to kick off a guy like Nashawn Wright or someone below him. Kalen King in there. Jalen Ford in there at linebacker, to me, adds to... We need to add some bodies at linebacker. Jalen Ford is a sturdy, good, Texas, consistent linebacker there for the Longhorns. And I think getting him in the I've seen some people put him in the 7th round. So to me, getting him in the 6th round is perfect. Jalen Ford would be a perfect mix to be kind of thrown into Eric Kendricks, Damone Clark, DeMarvin Overshone. You can throw in there Micah into the mix a little bit at some downs. And Jalen Ford in the mix too. Marquise Bell. You know what I'm saying? You got now another guy, another solid linebacker. That you don't want to draft a linebacker in the 2nd round. He's not going to start. So I'm getting a guy that's going to give me some special teams and some depth value at linebacker with Jalen Ford. Now we got 2 last 7th round picks way in the back of the 7th round. So here's where I went a little crazy. And I know I talked about the guy from TCU. Could have went after him. I think he's more undrafted. Talked about the quarterback, Cahoon or whatever. He's an undrafted. But I went with 2 guys I think I needed, and I went offense here, guys. I know. I went with only 3 defensive players out of 9. I went heavy offense. But you know what? Rasheen Ali from Marshall is a guy that I know the Cowboys love him, and he would be, I don't want to piss off the Deuce Vaughn lovers, but he would be the Deuce Vaughn replacement, or at least the guy that Deuce Vaughn would have to beat out to stay on the team, to not be on the practice squad. Because I believe that Rasheen Ali would be that change of pace kind of guy, catch the ball in the backfield, but he's bigger than Deuce Vaughn. He can do those stuff Deuce Vaughn does, but he's taller. He's bigger. He's more football size. So, to me, getting him at pick 233 is bonus. Even though we already got a running back, at this point, do we even need Zeke? I don't sign Zeke after this draft. You see, we got Braylon Allen, and we got Rasheen Ali, and we got freaking Royce Freeman, and we got Rico Dowdle. You throw in there the fullback, Hunter Lipke, and then you have, I'd say, 2 guys on the practice squad like Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis. Both guys great for practice squad. Damn. I'm not so upset about our running backs this is our running back squad. Zeke don't really change much for me other than the biggest thing he gives us, because we have Royce Freeman, we don't need even those short yardage. The biggest thing he gives us is pass blocking. That's the best thing we know he can do. But even that's fallen off for Zeke in the last couple of years. So I'd rather go double it up here in the draft and then double a running back. And then let's double up, baby, on offensive tackle. Because this is where I don't want to fight for this last player at pick 244. I don't want to fight for him as the undrafted free agents are out there.
Okay.
I'd rather solidify this pick with a couple picks to go in the draft. Solidify the guy from Canada, offensive tackle from British Columbia, Giovanni Manu, who's Tongan. And this guy is, again, this is the freak of nature. He's a 6'9", 350-pound monster that's still, very limited in his experience and played in Canada. But he'd be a risky guy. I would not want to fight him out for the undrafted crew. So after all those guys I said, you could get this guy undrafted offensive lineman. You can get the quarterback undrafted. The quarterback with the offensive lineman, you can get him in the 7th round. I said, fuck it. I'm going to Rasheen Ali, who could give us starting snaps as a change of pace back. That's a starter then. A starter in the rotation. And Giovanni Manu, which I'm rolling the dice on, let's just see what we can do with him. To me, he's like Isaac Alarcon, but much better. Let's see what we can do with him. And again, I would love to pick somebody else there and then pick him up in the undrafted class. I didn't want to risk it. So with 9 picks, 6 on offense, 3 on defense, this was the best I can do for the family. If we were Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, would you guys be happy with this? What would you give this mock draft? An A, a B, a C, a D, an F? Let us know right now what you think. Post it right now. Drop what you think, the letter that you think this mock draft should get.
I mean, for me personally, I give it a B+. And that has more to do with the players that fell to us than any actual move we did or didn't make, if that makes sense, especially in those first 2 rounds. So basically, and I am rating it kind of half from like the Cowboys' perspective and half just from my own, in the sense of I already shared my thoughts there. But I also think that for the Cowboys, it would be a quote-unquote disappointment to maybe not get a guy that I do personally think they have higher on their list. But of course, you can't do anything if they're kind of drafted right under you. So at least JPJ was on that list.
Yeah, he's on that level as well. But think about what Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones like to do though. For a guy they really want, they probably trade up for him. Do we want him to trade up for Graham Barton?
No.
Hell no. We don't want to be the ones giving up a third rounder, right?
So I guess once again, praise to the Cowboys for not doing anything stupid there. And obviously, I know it's our mock draft, but I'm talking about
if the Cowboys are doing it right. Yeah,
it's add a little mystery to it. Oh, but I think you guys get my point there. As far as how I think, like I said, I personally give it a B+. As far as how I think the Cowboys would feel about it, again, like I said, it really just depends on how much they really had their heart set on these other guys, with the fact that JPJ is supposedly still on our list, so to speak. Like,
on this list
like
of
I said,
names,
you can't really go wrong there.
On this list of names, you got JPJ, you have Braylon Allen, you have I think Malik Washington's in there somewhere, and Rasheen Ali. And we know we also went and visited Giovanni Manu. So I'm telling you, 5 out of the 9 guys, the Cowboys have definite interest with on this board. And listen, I know the Cowboys have interest in Blake Fisher. I know the Cowboys have interest in Tavondre Sweat. They've talked about that. Kalen King, I'm not really sure. Do they? I'm not sure if they do or not. But Jalen Ford as well, but he's from Texas. So, but that's it. Those are the 4 guys that are kind of like, the Cowboys look deeper into these guys, because I know they looked at Tavondre Sweat. I know they looked at, Blake Fisher. They definitely looked at Jalen Ford. But how much did they give into, how much did they say, okay, we're really serious about drafting, we're not, we'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
You got to remember, this is what I saw come down on my mock draft. So when it came through, we had to make the decision on who was left. Of course, we'd like to get this guy or that guy who was drafted 5 picks before or 10 picks before. But we have to go with what we got, right? And so I think we touched on, when I look at this, my quick view, I see a starter, a soon-to-be starter at receiver, a soon-to-be starter at an interior defensive line. I say a special teams cornerback, a special teams linebacker, a possible starter in some ways, on some plays as a halfback, change of pace running back, and then a future who knows what with Giovanni Manu. So I think I got myself a lot of starting type guys here to use this year and in the future. I'll give it an A. I would love this draft. There's a couple players I wish we could have gotten in this mix, but I'm being realistic. There's only so much you can do, so I'm giving it an A. I see some people giving some. What are their rankings in the chat?
Yeah, so let me go ahead. So first of all, Asmodeus agrees, saying B+.
Ah, that's with you.
Tokyo
yes.
said B. Let me see. Rolling back a little bit, Asmodeus said, well, I changed my vote. We did get JPJ, so I'm actually going to A-.
Hey.
Louis Ortiz said, that draft is a B. I'm hoping we can get Manu because he's a big boy.
Remember, guys, Manu is going to be a guy who's either going to be a 7th rounder or undrafted. It'll be a surprise if he goes any earlier than that.
So, Jason Renfro cracks me up. He said they gave you a D on that one.
On Manu.
And yes, he did.
Yeah, they gave me a D on Manu, but that's because I'm not trying to get an A+ guy with that last pick.
Louis Ortiz also said B+. So,
yep.
I mean, overall, it seems like B+ is the favorite, so to speak. In the sense of, that seems to be the one that has the most votes.
I don't think it'll be. I see. Thank you. Much love to Rolando Rodriguez. I'm glad you. I'm going to keep a picture of this as well during the draft to the next couple of days. But I just want to see where these guys fall. Who gets them? I didn't do as much studying as I've done in the past on these guys, mainly because we've done this in the past and we ended up getting 1 out of the 100 players that we review. Right. So we want to make sure we kind of get more of your take on these things, so make sure you leave the comments in the comment section down below. And if you guys are reading this tomorrow, before the draft, we are going to be going live, but after the draft, at our usual time. But we will have uploaded our reaction to the draft in the first round and the second and third rounds, and that is coming up, tomorrow, before we even go live for the first round. So you'll see the video drop of our reaction of what happened, whether it's a trade back or what we did. We'll give you probably in that little reaction, we'll give you our 2 cents on what we think about the pick, and then post that. It'll be a 3-minute, 4-minute video. An hour later or whatever, 12:30 Eastern, we'll go live here on MCF as we always try to do to keep with the same fans, the same family that usually knows the place and time for this discussion and these talks. The 50+ that usually jump in here around this lateness, the late show. When it comes to the Cowboy news going on. So again, just want to break it down. We're not going live for the draft. We're going to go live right after the draft. But before we go live, we will have our opinions on the drafted player and our reaction. So can't wait for that tomorrow. I believe I'm voting for. I believe it's going to be a trade back tomorrow. And again, unless there's some crazy guy that falls to us that we really wanted. That'd be the only reason why we don't trade back, in my opinion, because there's definitely going to be at least 2 or 3 teams that are looking to jump into our spot. The Ravens are one of them, the Chiefs, there's a couple others, the Bills, so we'll see what happens.
So Jason Renfro said, I give your draft a solid B.
There you go. Hey, I'll take a B or higher. Hell yeah.
Louis Ortiz said B+. I think I said that. So, yeah, I mean, overall, it seems like B+. Yeah,
I said B to A, B's to A minuses, that puts it at about a B+, which is what you said.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. I like it. That would be a big win for us. But then I saw somebody say they don't grade them until year 3. Exactly. There's only so much you can do with this until they play this year, play next year, give them a third year. You know what I'm saying? Once we see that third year, we'll know where they lie. And I saw Tyrone Church asking about Osa. That's a good question because, he'll have to be signed until next year. This will be his final year, isn't it? I think this year. So
I think so.
Yeah, Osa is a guy the Cowboys are not looking to sign right now. Will they sign him next offseason? Who knows? But Cowboys seem to listen, if we get Tavondre Sweat and we have Sweat and Mozzie, do you move from Osa? That's something we'll talk about in the very long down the line future if it even comes down that way, if it breaks down.
But guess what, guys? This time tomorrow, we will know exactly what our Cowboys did, at least in the first round.
Damn right. At least the first round pick right there. Again, any of these names I mentioned already, guys, please understand I'm happy. Jackson Powers Johnson, Graham Barton. If we trade back far enough and get Kingsley Salmataya and get a bunch of picks, I'm cool with that. Zach Frazier, I'm good with that. If we trade back to the second round, we won't have a pick tomorrow if that happens. It'll just be a trade back to the second round.
Yeah.
We'll have 2 picks. We'll have 3 picks on day 2. But for that spot at 24, I'm not really liking many people at all for that spot. When I'm looking at 30s, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, I'm looking at 2 guys, Graham Barton at center and Jackson Powers Johnson, also at center. And if neither of those guys are around and we trade back far enough, you go center, you go Zach, I forgot his name now. Damn it, I can't believe it. But Zach Fisher. And if and I really don't see any. That's all offensive linemen. That's it. We're in that space there. Everything else, trading down from 30 is basically second round. So if it's a first round and we're taking a pick tomorrow at 24 or 32, probably going to be a center. It's probably going to be JPJ or Graham Barton. That's my expectation, family. Let me know what you all think. The last thoughts as you shout out everybody.
Of course.
We have their comments too, and we'll finish it up that way.
Luis Ortiz said that was an awesome outcome.
Yeah.
We have a lot of contracts coming up next year, so
Yeah, a lot of starters in this draft, in my opinion. A lot of starting quality players.
Yeah. James Hurd, and again, I get it, I understand, but us here, we're always rocking with our Cowboys. So
always.
Jason Renfro, much love. Thank you for also sharing your thoughts on that. So rolling back here. We have Luis Ortiz at Smodius, much love. Stanley Frederic. Tokyo, what's up? Jorge Hernandez, take it easy. Let me see.
They didn't have Giovanni Manu on the actual thing. I just wrote him in. Like, I just put it in myself. That's why you see it like that. They still gave me a D. On that one, on that pick. The overall draft will give me like a 78%. Like, that's pretty good.
Oh, that is pretty good.
Success rate, I guess. Or 68%.
Let me see. Rolando Rodriguez, take it easy. Have a great night.
Yeah.
Let me see. Asmodeus, much love. Representing here. No, just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. Tyrone Church, much love. James Hurd, Rolando Rodriguez. Luis Ortiz, Asmodeus. Jason Renfro, of course. Skeptical fan.
Always staying skeptical.
Let me see. Yep, I mean, at least for me, that's as far back as I can go.
Sounds good then, baby. I think we got it all locked up for the night. There's your MCF, My Cowboys Family mock draft 2024 style. Extra special shout out to SCO971 from last night and Grateful Nomad from last night on the After Dark session. Also, big time shout out to Jason Renfro and Skeptical Fan dropping the love from above tonight. Jason Renfro with the first gifted membership, which means he's in the lead, trying to go for that three-peat. And extra special shout out to their newest star level member, back in it again, Choctaw Montana 808 in the house. Much love, appreciate you. And remember, guys, all of these, you got their mock draft. That's the hope tomorrow. If we get this mock draft, I'm giving it an A. But let's also, before we roll out of here fully, baby, let's remind everybody about the draft. Well, we call it the draft raffle.
Yes.
But it's not going to be done during the draft because we're not going live during the draft. So it'll be done soon. We'll tell you when the update is. But anybody who drops love this week, you're going to be able to be in this raffle when we do it. Keep that in mind.
Right,
I got running numbers right now on the side. So
once you drop $10, bam, you are automatically entered. And those entries are cumulative. So every additional 10 is another additional entry.
Yeah, unlimited, stackable. If you drop $50, you get five raffle entries, which obviously ups your chances to win one of these. Again, we didn't even say what the prize was, but a sewn and stitched jersey. And it's, even if you're not a Cowboy fan, we got every team available. A lot of players from every team, but the most players available from the Dallas Cowboys. New and old, different styles and sizes. So we're going to have two jerseys, two different winners, winning one jersey apiece. And yes, all you got to do to be entered is $10. You're in. Once you're in, though, and you're in the membership in navy blue, silver star, or over everything, you automatically get a bonus raffle entry. So keep that in mind if you are in the membership and you hit the $10 before this raffle goes down. So that's the way it's gonna go. We're gonna probably do the raffle the same day for two different winners. One for day one and one for day two. That might literally be like in 15 days from now. So keep that in mind, and I'll keep you guys up to date. Making sure everybody, I do have everyone's drops, and I do have you guys, your raffle entries. I'll be keeping that always open, every night to make sure I keep updating that properly. Right now, I think Jason Renfro has the most entries with Choctaw Montana right behind him. I think he's back one by one. So, and a couple others in this thing, about 4 or 5 people in it. Try to build it up for a couple more, and then we'll drop this raffle. It might even happen the same night as our Star and Over Everything level membership raffle, where another jersey is going to be given away there from our side of things. So we'll see. Maybe on that day we do this for the month of April. We'll also do the Lunatic jersey raffle for the draft. Again, to be in it, you gotta be at $10 or more, and they keep stacking. Unlimited bonus entries if you're in membership. Good luck to the winners, and big shout outs to the Lunatic for making this thing happen.
So with that said, guys, again, why is it that we do what we do here? My love?
You let us know.
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
You know, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here on this channel, here on MCF, we always rep that star over everything. And of course, here on My Cowboys Family, for almost 7 years on YouTube, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6, god damn it, and beyond. Come on now, let's get it.
It is finally here, the Christmas morning for the Dallas Cowboys.
And this is Will McClay's specialty. This is the Cowboys' specialty, but it's Will McClay's specialty.
We're going to need that Will McClay special.
So yeah, before we get out of here, let me give Will McClay a little good luck shout out. Boom. Come on, Will. In Will McClay, we trust. Because if it weren't for him, we'd probably be perennially 4 or 5 or 6 win team with the front office clown show shit. So thank you, Will McClay. And hey, you've messed up a little bit last year. Make it back up, and let's hit on all cylinders for this 2024 draft. So on that note, guys, again, shout out to those that dropped the love. Shout out to those in the chat dropping the knowledge all night long. Cannot do this without you guys' love and support. But as we get ready to clock out and drop out of here for the night, we'll be back tomorrow, relocked and reloaded for the show, for the kickoff of the 2024 first round of the draft. Cannot wait for that. So we'll be posting our video reaction, and then we'll be going live a little bit after that. So stay tuned. Tomorrow it gets down. It's on. I cannot wait. I'm excited. Cowboys, don't fuck this up. That's all I'm saying. So on that note, baby, before we can get back here tomorrow and kick off the draft officially, let everybody know what we got to do here before we drop out for the night.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. The beat has been dropped. Thank you all for rocking with us here. Another one, My Cowboys Family style, with that news, those infos, and those updates on our Dallas Cowboys. And hey, the draft is here. It's real. It's here in front of us. So I hope you guys enjoyed all of today's news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys on another MCF Cowboys chat. This one specially marked with that 2024 MCF mock draft, baby. We talked about it all and more, as we always do. Our Cowboys, the NFL news, our Cowboys, whether it's Zeke coming back, CeeDee Lamb and Micah and their deal situation, or the draft, the first pick, the center, that's our guess. Which one? Question mark. We'll know very soon. Can't wait. Tomorrow. And then here on MCF, we'll give you the reactions, a live stream after that, and more. Here on MCF, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to all of you guys in the house. Can't do this without you all. Don't forget to hit the like for the stream. It helps the analytics. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Keep growing the channel. And, of course, hit that notification bell. Turn it on to all videos so you know when we're going live. You can also see when we're going live on Discord. All the information is in the description. We also have, social media outlets. So, like X or Twitter, at My Cowboys Family. Yeah, I showed you how we go live. Follow us there as well, guys. Thank you all. Can't wait for the draft. Let us know what you think we did. Leave your comments down below, your grade. Peace. Stay safe. The next time we see you, Cowboys will have drafted somebody in the first round. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. Maybe we trade out of the first round. And we got to wait till day 2. We'll see. Much love to all of you. Peace. Stay safe. And never, ever forget. Oh, you know it. Go Cowboys!